Hello, Ben.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm alright. I've just clogged my gaping hole ever so slightly, but it's not done much.
Oh yeah, we'll talk more about your gaping hole whilst I'm doing this, shall we?
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
So we're back on Hardspace Shipbreaker.
uh,
I can't remember what ship we're doing. I did have a look. I did click on it just a second ago. I assume you're watching.
yes.
Okay, cool. You said that with a hint of doubt.
Alright, I just realised I was on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I timed that perfectly, did I? It's the
Yes, I'm
Mackerel
watching now.
Exo Lab. That's what we're doing. So I don't
Oh.
remember actually taking one of these apart before. I probably have because I've done the story, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's a big old thing. Oh fucking hell, what's going on?
I mean, really, they all look the same to me.
Well, they wouldn't if you saw them.
Paid any attention. I
Yeah,
do pay
basically.
attention.
I mean, I knocked this thing about with a communications array, and now it's already like twisted. And
See, this is exactly the sort of thing I would watch if the commentary was good.
well, you are the commentary. You'd be even more of a commentary if you were paying attention. You could be like, "Oh
I
my
am
god, he's taken apart the thing, the dorsal fin, the dorsal fin."
a dolphin.
Your mama. Anyway, talk about
Literally.
your. I'm sure she's a
My
lovely
gaping
woman.
hole.
Yeah, talk about your gaping hole
Well, for those of you that don't know, which is most of you,
because no one pays attention to any of this shit.
um, I my room has been terribly cold these last few years in the winter. Almost as if a window's been open, but no window has been open. It's felt like a breeze has been coming through a hole in the wall.
Bring
And I
on
did
the
have,
wall.
yes, I did have a mosey about, but I never found it. And then, I think like a week ago, I noticed that the plug that my PC monitor, or my proper PC thing is plugged into, the bottom bit of it is sort of exposed. And I thought, oh, maybe that's a goer. And I checked it again tonight and actually shone a torch on it because the light from the actual proper room light doesn't reach it too well. And lo and behold, it is gaping.
Gaping, he says.
And I am almost certain that's where I can't imagine it's anywhere else. I bung some t-shirts down there just to cover it. It's already less cold. It has to be that. We had these plugs were added later after the house was bought. We had some people in to do stuff up. They have done a fucking awful job. They've just left it open. The actual wire of the plug socket is visible. It's not exposed, which is the word I use, I think, incorrectly. But it is. You can see it.
If you want to see some exposed wires, you should see what I'm about to do to this fucking thing. Not to, diminish the situation that you found yourself in. Just
Well,
making conversation.
it's annoying that they've done such a shitty job, and it's annoying that it took me so long to find it, even if it is like the obvious place. But it's in the vague direction I figured it was coming from. And a lot of the time I haven't really bothered looking for it. I just sort of assumed it was probably really small or behind something, and I was probably never going to find it. But I would bet good money on that being it. I think it's an almost certainty. It has to be. I can't imagine it isn't. So yes, but the fact that I found it means we can do something about it.
Yes, that is very true. That is the
I don't know
most
what that would
important thing
be.
to take into account.
I will need to consult with more sensible minds than my own.
So anyone really.
Yeah.
Ha ha
Um,
ha.
uh,
What have we got here that I can? Oh, hang on. There's a. No, that's not. What is that? Oh, it's one of them things. Alright, I don't know how I'm going to take half of this shit about, I'm sort of making it up as I go along and hoping for the best. I think maybe if I tackle it from the front. Or if I can take that panel off, that might help. Give me another way to get stuff out. We've already, off camera, discussed the fact that we don't have an awful lot to talk about today. Which is going to make this video a bit shit.
I mean, I have to say we've had topic-wise pretty healthy couple of weeks previous to this.
Yeah, it's not been too bad.
And I just thought we've just sort of dried up.
Like
I think I've got about 4.
I have written down 2, and I have a third one that I didn't write down.
Right.
And
Well, a
that's
lot
it.
of mine are just personal things.
No, you probably shouldn't talk about them.
Well, not too personal. I've already mentioned my gaping hole.
No, that's true. And your gaping hole. Well, that's not that personal, is it?
My windy gaping hole. Yeah.
You could drop a sausage down it.
I might help plug it up.
You might.
Well, we both have some video news, don't we?
Oh yeah, mostly you.
My
Mine's not that
my
important.
most recent video about the Sharon Gate storyline, the EastEnders, that debuted on this Monday. Well, I say Monday. For us, it's Monday. So
Hang on.
last Monday
Okay.
to the viewers.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
I haven't seen it.
Right.
You don't need me anymore, remember? I'll watch it at my leisure.
Okay.
I've had a shit week, which we have discussed.
I know it might cheer you up.
I doubt it. Actually, I've got some EastEnders news that we can talk about.
Hang on.
No, I mean after this. I don't mean now.
Okay. Well, as it stands at this moment, this Thursday, 18th of January, the year of our Lord 2024.
God, it is 2024.
I have 1,200 views on it, 86 likes, 19 comments, and it's not my subscriber rate up by 102.
It's not too shabby.
Which is alright.
I thought
just sit
I thought
there
the views
and,
were a bit slower than I was expecting for you, but
Well, you see, I thought that, but I mean, I had that same problem with Noel Gordon. It's a long-term thing, really. I mean, my Dirty Den and my, especially my Bet Lynch video, I mean, they just exploded. So I have every confidence it'll just keep ticking over for a while. So, yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, I'm only going to get more subscribers, I think.
It wasn't built in a day, but they started it.
And I've received... Somebody else said they've...
I'm listening.
Somebody mentioned that they rewatched one of my videos.
Ooh,
And they said it was superb, which is lovely. But it is interesting that these... You know, I mean, I watch a few videos, but it's interesting that other people are now rewatching mine, which is interesting.
No one's ever going to want to rewatch mine. I'm not even sure anyone's ever going to want to watch mine.
Oh, stop it.
Well, I mean, the first one went a bit dodgy, so...
my first ones weren't great. But
my first three
got better.
are not great in terms of sound at all, and I acknowledge that. But it was one of those, I am not re-recording this. Not now.
Well, I didn't really know what I was... I'd bought a mic, but it was a shit mic. And that mic you recommended for me works really well. Like, when I recorded the audio for this Sharango video, I didn't have to edit out pops.
Oh, that's helpful.
You know, it was a one-take wonder. Well, I say one-take wonder. Obviously, I made, like, mistakes, but it wasn't, like, audio issues.
Yeah, I get you.
Which is great. I mean, that sped it up massively. I recorded one of my first tier videos. The first sort of go-through on this headset I used for this, and it was awful. It was just appalling. I thought, I cannot put that out. I'm not wasting my fucking time editing it. I'm just gonna leave this for like a couple of weeks, so if I don't feel like I'm, sort of fresh in my mind.
Yep.
And I don't feel like it's a massive chore, and I'm gonna tackle this again. That's what I did. So I don't know when the next tier video is coming out. I'll probably do, I think, maybe February or March time. I want to leave it a little while, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to overdo it.
And I am taking maybe another... I'm taking this weekend, probably next weekend. Well, definitely next weekend, I think. And maybe even the weekend after, just to sort of chill. Because I don't often allow myself that.
No, you don't, do you?
To chill or indulge in other sort of hobbies. There's the big writing project. I've been getting more passionate about that again, so I'm going to look into that and see what I've done. I've almost finished, I figured I could split it into, volumes, and I've essentially almost finished the first volume in that case.
Okay, that's good.
Which is great. I want to get my diary up to date, because that's, more than a month behind.
God, imagine caring that much.
Well, I'm going to be really pissed off at myself if I stop it, because I've been doing it since 2019.
Oh, no shit. I can't say the thing that made me giggle, but I'll tell you after. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I've been doing my girlfriend since 2019.
I knew that was what it was going to be. Was it 2019? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was late 2019.
What? Your diary?
When August 2019. I'm sure of it because I think I was volunteering at the hospital.
Oh, is that around about the time when we stopped talking, or was that before?
That was after we
Oh.
stopped talking in like, say like February or March.
I don't know. It's been a while.
I think it was February or March. Yeah, it must have been. It must have been like March time.
I used to walk to work those days.
Yeah. So.
Speak of the devil, what the other person party to that is just messaged me.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, carry on.
What
Do you want to hear my
want?
video news?
Yeah, go on.
I've uploaded 6 videos. They are, sadly, because of the plans that I have made in terms of scheduling and that, they are spread out over 2 days. Well,
6 videos over 2 days.
Well,
My goodness.
I know. Well, the plan for these. Sorry, 4 days. 4 days.
Right.
The plan was to do, like, because I'm doing the Formula 2 career in the game before the season starts as a sort of like a warm up.
What's Formula 2?
It's like you know how in football you've got like the Champions League and then you've got
No.
it's like the easy mode.
Right.
It's not the easy
So it's
mode.
like the featherweight.
Yeah.
Featherweight.
Well, yeah. It's like the little leagues. It's like college football compared to like state football.
It's like the various cups in Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah.
You know, you've got your big cup.
Yes, exactly that. You know Mario Kart. You
No.
got 50cc.
I don't know what a Mario Kart is.
How do you not know what Mario Kart is? How are you that fucking the video game Mario Kart?
Okay, I don't know anything about it. You just sort of drive around, don't you?
Yeah, it's racing games. But like there's easy mode and then there's slightly harder mode and then there's slightly harder mode and eventually you're on
I think I get it.
Yeah, that's
So
what
Formula, you know, well done. You qualified for Formula 2, but you haven't got enough points to be in Formula 1.
Well, it's more normally that it's like the rookie season.
Right.
They tend to be less experienced drivers that therefore need to sort of earn their chops.
So what is this? What are you saying? What is the point? You're doing Formula 2?
Oh, I'm doing the Formula 2 season because that's part of the game that I'm going to be using for some of the content. It lets you have a Formula 2. Like, you can do Formula 2 before you do Formula 1, so you can sort of work into it. So I'm doing that, and I didn't realise that if I'm doing it properly, there is practice, qualifying, sprint race, and proper race. So that's actually 4 sessions to deal with. I was expecting it to just be qualifying and race, because, you know, why would it be anything more? So I'm sort of like, I've got twice as much content to sort out. And no more time to deal with it, really. So I've sort of doubled up a little bit. I've done the practice and the qualifying in one video apiece because they're basically irrelevant anyway, at my skill level especially.
Right.
A sprint is another video going out the same day because that's normally how it works. Is they qualify then they do the sprint on the same day, so it makes sense. And then the race the day after, because that's how that normally works as well. And what that means is I've done 2 race weekends, and it's 6 videos and 4 days, and it's going to take me fucking ages to get through it all. But I've only got about 2 weeks before they start publishing, so I need to crack on.
Well, I genuinely do look forward to watching.
Yeah, well,
You might find it kind of interesting.
Spoiler alert, I've actually done quite well in the old racing. Apart from the time I accidentally caused a red flag situation. But it's not my fault. I say I caused it. I didn't. It's not my fault that it happened. Someone crashed into me. I span. We were blocking the entire fucking road on a very tight track, so they red flagged it and restarted the race from whatever lap we were on. And from there, I basically overtook to first place in the first 2-3 laps, and then ended up winning. So, you know, spoiler alert.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're the worst person in the game.
No, I'm not. I'm not great. The last race was a bit dirty, to be honest with you. Like, there was a lot of overtaking that probably should have been penalised, but they let me off. They didn't question me for any of it, even though really they probably should have. And I should have definitely ended up with some damage to the car, even though because the damage settings are on for obvious reasons. So you want to be realistic, right? And yeah, didn't really do that much damage. So I don't know what's going on there.
Hmm.
But it's all legit. I actually I was doing well in a race. I stopped. I deliberately crashed into a wall to find out if it was working. It was working. It ripped the car off, and I was like, well, okay, that's fine. I'll start the race again now because I was doing well. I feel like it's a justified restart. Like,
Yeah.
it's not me saying, oh, this is going really badly. I don't want to do this anymore. It was you know, well, actually, if this isn't right, I want to fix it before we carry on. So, yeah, I mean, you might enjoy it. You might enjoy the videos. Worst case scenario, you'll enjoy hearing me talk bollocks. No doubt. No doubt. There's not a lot to talk about season-wise until the season starts. And the scripted bits that I've got about the teams, obviously I can't really. They only take up so much time. What are you doing? You've gone quiet.
Sorry, I'm just telling Mum I want to sleep in the spare room. It's important because I can't do it when we finished because it'll be too late.
Okay, pass on my best.
No.
Why not?
Because it would be weird.
What, you can't say, oh, Jordan says hi. Is that moving? Is that moving, do you think? I think it's definitely moving. I want it to get closer to the
a little
to the intro area. So I'm gonna let you do that whilst I quickly reply to this thing on my phone.
What did she want?
It's about work.
Well, yes. Probably getting a haircut tomorrow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I had a haircut so recently. I don't think I need another one.
Well, I probably do.
I didn't realise
I'm not
this
going to have
been...
the opportunity for the next few weeks, so I better get it done tomorrow.
Why aren't you going to have the opportunity for the next few weeks?
Well, when Friday I have a dentist appointment, and then after that I'm doing jury service.
Oh, are you?
I don't think I've talked about that, and I'm not going to talk about it in detail, obviously, on a recorded video.
No, of course.
I've got jury service.
Oh, hang on, I'll bleep it out. You've got beep.
Yes.
And you're going to go to beep to talk about beep.
I've never done it before.
I know you've never done it before, Ben, but it's fine. It's not that hard. Oh, wait, actually, you do want it to be quite hard.
I've watched a video about it.
Yeah.
And obviously they told me some details in the letter, but it's a 5-day-a-week thing, so there's a good chance I won't be able to get a haircut for...
You could recuse yourself.
At least one more week. What, for a haircut?
No, just, say you're racist or something. That's what works, isn't it? Although, to be fair, you might fancy the defendant. I mean, you might be able to...
Is that a peep show reference?
It is a peep show.
I think the jury's system shitty. Anyway.
Oh no, it's gone wrong. I fixed it. What's the flashlight button? I've forgotten the... Oh, it's 5. Okay, there we go.
So,
I've lost it again.
I finished my Black Death book.
Oh yeah.
The Great Mortality by John Kelly.
Is it any good?
It's fucking brilliant.
Well, I always thought that Black Death was quite a bad thing, but okay, it's good to know.
It's horrifying. It just
doesn't know how you feel.
Well, I mean, I just think the writing style is great, but it's also a fascinating topic, and it really does convey the idea that people thought the world was ending because it was preceded by like floods and natural disasters, and it rained fucking constantly, which meant that it wasn't just rain. It was like the warfare changed because there was a battle where infantry beat cavalry.
Oh wow!
And suddenly everybody's breaking out the infantry because it's much cheaper and easier to train, which means more people on the field. who don't necessarily obey the sort of princely, noble rules of combat and just beat the shit out of everybody. So it's really bloody and everybody's traumatized, and because of the famine, there's lots of malnutrition. And he mentioned that these are things that sort of natural disasters force the rats out of their usual, habitats and into more highly populated, densely populated areas.
Which causes problems.
Yeah. One thing that really stuck with me was the horrors inflicted on the Jewish people.
Yeah, they have a tough time of it sometimes.
It was just barbaric. I mean, it's just fascinating to learn that this sort of anti-Semitism congealed very quickly into this conspiracy theory, where there was a rabbi. Well, this is all made up, but there was a rabbi in Spain who was telling people to poison wells, and it just spun right out of control, and suddenly Jewish people have been killed left, right, and centre.
Well, I mean, in
horrifying ways.
In fairness, was the well in Gaza?
No.
Okay. Because I mean, you don't need me to spell that out.
Well, yeah, he talks about how it shattered people's. Well, it seriously dented people's faith, religious faith.
That's understandable.
Just the fact that the world is fucking ending and the church doesn't seem to do anything, and a lot of the clergy are dying. The problem with that is that a lot of the clergy who were dying were the ones who were doing their jobs. So by the end of it, you've got a bunch of priests who survived largely because they were hiding away and refusing to interact with anybody, like give communion or last rites or anything. And then a lot of the replacements were young and not properly trained.
Well, that don't help.
And then the Reformation, it was sort of it created fertile ground for the seeds of the Reformation to be planted in, is how he puts it.
Oh, that's a nice series of words.
It changed medicine because, this sort of
leech shortage.
It used to be pretty philosophical medicine, all the four humours and that.
Yes,
and
I remember studying it.
Yes, you weren't really allowed to dissect dead bodies, or autopsies were looked down on.
Sorry, I just feel the need to clarify. We studied medicine as a subject in history, not necessarily the four humans themselves. Like we talked about the four humans and the belief system. Just for
and Galen is mentioned.
Yes.
Whose party trick was cutting the nerves of pigs or something and making them twitch, something like that.
It's a pretty shitty trick, really, when you think about it. But
yeah, but that was, medicine was based around that sort of philosophy.
Mine is making it sound like I'm blowing up a balloon without blowing up a balloon. Oh, I done that one for you. Then. All right, hang on.
Yes.
Okay.
You doing it?
Oh, fuck off.
What?
Either you couldn't hear it, or that was that, or you're taking the piss.
I didn't hear a thing.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't know what to say because I could hear it quite well, and obviously it's either going to go really well on the audio or it's going to go really badly on the audio.
We'll see.
There's not a lot I could do to make it happen any better.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, or you didn't. But yeah,
no one enjoyed it, Ben. But it's my party trick. It sounds great in person.
It was sort of philosophically based, and then the Black Death happened, and suddenly they moved towards more empirical. Surgeons took over rather than fusty academics.
Those pesky academics. Sorry, those fusty academics. Ooh, when will they learn?
And it was a great book, and it really puts things in perspective. 50% of England died, or 50% of parts of England, or 50%, around 50%. It's hard to put a number on these things, but it was
God, imagine if it happened now.
A colossal amount of people died. It must have seemed like the end of the world. And then afterwards, everybody just started fucking.
Well, and wouldn't you?
It was very... Yes, he made the point of everybody just sort of let their inhibitions run loose because they had survived, which is fair enough.
I mean, that's why there was the baby boomers.
Well, yes, and after World War One, we had the Jazz Age and the Flappers. That was a direct result of the fact that
you called it a flapper.
World War One. But yes, I would highly, highly, highly recommend The Great Mortality by John Kelly. It is great, and I got that
Hang on.
recommendation.
What do you mean World War One?
I got that recommendation from the last podcast on the left, which is a great podcast too.
My mouse matter's gone a bit wonky. So this is going quite well, I would say. I've not blown anything up yet. I don't think there's anything left to blow up.
Hmm.
Worst case scenario, I could accidentally start an electrical fire. But I don't see that likely to happen. Because I don't think there's anything electrical left of them wires, and the wires don't have anything going into them. Oh, there's that computer terminal. So this has been quite an effective dismantling. If you have a look at the percentages.
Gosh, look at that! You've been all right. You're burning through it.
I am burning through it. It's going quite quick today. It's probably for the best because we started late, didn't we? I'm not in a great mood, and there's not a lot to talk about. Do you want to talk about EastEnders?
Yeah, go on.
Do you know what their news is?
Is this the fact that they've sold the set?
Yeah, they've sold the set.
Yes, they're leasing it.
Yes.
The BBC is like
trying to save money. So what they're doing is instead of maintaining an asset, they're now going to pay to be able to use said asset. Which doesn't seem very much like.
Well, they get a big lump sum, don't they? I mean, they're looking for like a shit ton of money.
Yeah, well, they're getting 70 mil, I think it was said, and they need to save 500 a year. So it doesn't necessarily make sense to me, but I'm not a businessman.
But it makes sense to me.
It doesn't make sense.
You know, I've got this thing, and I'm paying. I could still be paying, but also have 70 million.
Yeah, I don't know. It just it screams silly to me. It screams someone in government insisted this happen.
Well, I wonder what they. I mean, this is it. It's not Aviva, is it? It's something like that.
AXA, I think.
Yeah, you bought the EastEnders set. I mean, it can't just be to lease it to the BBC for.
I don't think it's just for EastEnders set. I think the EastEnders set is part of a series of locations that have been sold to them. It doesn't include because obviously it's Elstree, isn't it? Studios, and so it doesn't include stuff like the place where some of the Star Wars stuff was filmed and shit like that. It doesn't include the place where Strictly gets done. That's a separate area as well. But it is I would say it's a significant historical area. Personally, I mean, not even if only EastEnders had been made there, it would be culturally significant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even, no matter how you feel about soaps, and you know my stance on soaps, so I'm not that fussed about them.
You are indifferent.
Yeah.
Which is completely fair. I mean, it is historical. As far as I know, they've always used that set.
Yeah. They had a renovation, didn't they, which ran over.
Yeah, it was not like Coronation Street, which used to be filmed. It was
Sorry, you went quiet. What's that?
like Coronation Street, where they've moved about a bit, and it was always filmed inside.
No, EastEnders
Studio, and then they built their own set. I think EastEnders was always like that. Who knows?
Well, EastEnders is quite a bit younger, isn't it? Which.
Yeah, 25 years, 26 years younger.
So.
It's insane when you put it like that.
God, it's been going for a fucking long time. Not as long as the Archers, though.
Yeah. I want to tell you about the next book I'm going to read.
Okay.
Because I ordered this, but it's going to arrive on Tuesday, so I'm reading Fire and Blood, and I suspect I might finish Fire and Blood before I read this new book.
Is Fire and Blood the Game of Thrones additional content one?
Yes,
The copy I've got of that has got a fantastic image of a guy jumping from a dragon onto another dragon.
Yes, that is Daemon. That will be in the TV show.
Will it? Oh,
that's one of the things. Yes, that's part of the Dance of Dragons. It's Daemon jumping from Caraxes and killing his nephew Aemon. He was riding Vhagar.
Aemon Holmes?
No.
That would be a look about, wouldn't it? I swear to God, if they don't get Aemon Holmes to play Aemon, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Yes. Yes.
Because he can't act as someone other than his own name, can he?
He just play himself. Yeah.
Irish
but
Is he
Yeah,
Irish?
I mean, yes,
I thought
Northern
so.
Irish. I'm reading it and I'm enjoying it.
Okay, well I won't spoil
I
anything.
honestly, I have to get back into the Game of Thrones books because it's been so long since I've read them.
Oh, you just reminded me. I found out the message that I had from the individual that we were very loosely commenting on earlier was on the back of a conversation that was happening earlier. We get because obviously we are both parents to a same individual.
Yes.
We both get newsletters from the school,
Mm-hmm.
and one such newsletter labelled someone. They mentioned someone who had got an award from the head teacher, and the kid's name is Khaleesi.
Christ alive.
Yes, that was basically my reaction. I described it as a deed poll waiting to happen.
Yes.
Especially when you consider that because they are the year above, and when Game of Thrones finished, it does mean that they were named before the whole going crazy genocide on.
Before she burned her city to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, which you
She
know,
killed 500,000 people.
because she
One
heard
fell
some
swoop.
bells.
I mean, the people rightfully criticise that ending. I feel like it would have made sense if they had another 2 seasons before that, where they sort of worked up to it. It's
Yeah,
like the
but it
A
slowed
to
it.
Z, A to Z of villainy. She's at like what? He, you need a bit more there
Yeah,
to make that make sense.
it just didn't really work for the. But I think they stopped caring, didn't they?
Well, I think I mentioned this before. Everything up to series 4 is well regarded,
Yes,
and
and
then
then afterwards it's hit
they
and
ran
miss.
out of books, and then they did season 5, which people were pretty fucking critical of, especially the Dawn subplot, which is really kind of interesting in the books.
Which Dawn subplot is this? Just because it's been a while since I've seen it.
Well, okay, in the TV show, so Doran Martell is the Prince of Dawn, and his
Yep.
brother is Oberon, who gets killed by the Mountain.
Played by
Right?
Pedro Pascal.
God bless him. Yes, and
I love that man. I would die for
in
him.
there's a whole backstory about how their sister Elia was married to Rhaegar, and she was killed by the Mountain, and they want revenge on the Lannisters for
Yeah, and that's why he
killing her.
wants
And
to. That's why he does the trial by combat for
yeah.
Tyrion. Yeah.
Now in the TV show, Doran doesn't seem to give a shit. Really, he just sort of wants it to end, and he gets stabbed for it, and it's all the women who do it,
Okay.
and they're very annoying. In the books, it's very different than that. Doran has a daughter called Ariane Martell, who is very hot-tempered and annoyed that her father doesn't seem to be doing anything. But he explains that basically, like ever since they told him his sister was dead, he's been planning the downfall of the Lannisters. And he's got this convoluted scheme. But it's been pointed out that sort of the point of that is that Doran Martell has waited too long. He's waited for events to line up perfectly before he has acted, and therefore missed his opportunity, because now Tywin Lannister is dead and things are falling apart without him having done a thing. There's a great bit of symbolism where he's sitting, because he's got terrible gout, and he's sitting in his garden, and he's watching the fruit, I think they're oranges or something, on a tree that have grown too ripe, and they fall and splatter on the ground. It's like, it's like how he's waited too long to pick his plans into action, and now they've gone too ripe and spoiled.
That
He's
is
missed his
beautiful
chance.
imagery.
Yes.
Well, I don't want to give him too much credit, but that's a well-written piece.
Yes.
This is where it turns out that's fan fiction that you've read by accident.
No. But there's a lot of theories about Dawn. There's a long video called the Dawnish Master Plan, which is a crazy conspiracy theory that basically suggests that, I mean, it's different in the books, that Oberyn, that the mercenary company that cut off Jaime's hand, that was sort of engineered by the Martells. Some other. I think it has been suggested, and I think it's a very interesting theory, that Oberyn poisoned Tywin.
Okay.
Because in the books, when Tywin dies and voids his bowels, there's an awful lot of it.
Oh, okay.
And it has been suggested that he was terribly constipated because he had been poisoned by something that is mentioned in like a different chapter, a different book, and this poison sort of it makes you really constipated, and you're just sort of dying, and you get completely blocked up, and you sort of rot from the inside, full of shit.
Well, that makes sense.
And
also, Littlefinger's got that way because he's full of shit.
And it is mentioned frequently that Oberyn Martell knows a lot about poisons.
Yeah, that's true. Because he was a suspect for a while, wasn't he?
Yes, he covers his spear with poison. I think when he fights the mountain, I think that's what it. I don't know whether it's explicitly stated, but when he's like shining his spear, I think maybe it's suggested that that's him like covering it in poison. I don't know. You stop still.
Yeah, we've got to make a decision now whether we go for another one, which might take us over the normal sort of time, or we stop it here.
We haven't been going that long at all.
It's 35 minutes.
Do another.
I don't know if I can be arsed.
Okay,
I don't think
then.
I'll be asked today, but I don't want to cut the conversation short.
Well.
So what I'll do is I'll fly around for a bit.
Okay, I'll just keep talking about Game of Thrones, I guess.
Only if you've got specific stuff to talk about, in which case.
Well, I sort of haven't finished really my argument for why it went shit.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, they did Series 5, and that was really poorly received, in large part because Dawn is very interesting, and there's lots of speculation about it in the books, and in the TV show they sort of didn't give two shits. And I think that got to the writers, David Benioff and Weiss, Dan and Dave, whatever they're called.
D&D.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber. And then they got offered Star Wars. I think they just thought, you know what, fuck this. Let's just get this over and done with, and we'll go to Star Wars.
They got offered Star Wars.
Yeah.
Fucking hell! I'm pleased I didn't get it.
But
they didn't do it. It was bad enough as it was.
I mean, there's some stuff I like the I can't remember what it's called, but the loot train scene is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that.
That was alright, and I'll be honest, I quite liked the. What was it? There was a thing. It was last season. You know the episode just before the big battle.
Oh yeah, yes.
I really liked that episode.
I think that's widely regarded as like the last really good episode of Game of Thrones.
Was it a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms or something? It's called.
Yeah, where Brienne gets knighted by Jaime. They just sort of sit around and talk.
They're just passing the time before
Yes. Before everything kicks off.
The quiet before the storm. Because what else is there? It's basically all of what happened in Blackadder, but with without the comedy.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, I could quite happily. I like watching these characters interact. Just get a bunch of characters from different parts. You don't really, Davos talking to Tyrion,
Tormund talking to anyone.
Yes, and just stick them in a room and have them talk about their experiences and whatnot.
Yeah,
that works for me. The Long Night was terrible. I get what they were going for with that whole, it being so dark, like oppressive darkness. But you can do that in a way where you can still see, I feel. You can have it like you can see the battle itself, but like outside.
Yeah.
Everything's really dark and you can sort of vaguely make out shit moving. I don't know. You can do it well. People point to Helm's Deep as a really good example.
Yeah. Although Helm's Deep, of course, took place over a few days, I believe.
I think in the books it's clearer. Yeah, I mean,
look for me on the third day to the east when the sun rises. Because I'm not gonna be there, bitch.
I'm sure you've heard the Elijah Wood thing where he turned up on set. He saw pre-production clips of it and he said, where is all the light coming from? And somebody said the same place as the music.
Yeah.
Which I think is a really, really great way of summing it up. It doesn't have to be completely realistic. It's a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Make it visually appealing and interesting to the eye.
That, of course, has the scene that pissed off, was it Christopher Tolkien?
Was it Legolas surfing on the Uruk-hai shield?
Yeah, I think you told me about it. And that's at Helm's Deep.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be realistic.
Well, no, but on the plus side, I guess it generated a lot of interest in the books. Not that I've read the books, and I do like the films. They've grown on me more as I've aged. But...
Have you not read all the books?
No, I got up to Tom Bombadil last time.
I always end up skipping Tom Bombadil because it's not in the book. So it's not in the film. But I've read everything else.
Well, he's sort of pointless in a way, and there's been a lot of speculation among Tolkien, theorists, as to what the deal is. Because the only reason why he shows up, he saves them from the Barrow Wights, and then he's brought up again at the council at Rivendell. And he's basically only brought up so Gandalf can say no, he's completely useless. He's so powerful, if you gave him the ring, he'd forget about it and put it in his pocket, and he's just not a reliable keeper of it.
Well, that's
He
the
just
best
fucking
thing.
leave it somewhere. He just leave it somewhere. It's just a trinket to him. You know, it's nothing.
It was just a trinket to Bilbo.
No, it wasn't. Bilbo couldn't let it go.
That'd be a
You know,
bit-
if Tom Bombadil had the ring and you asked him for it, he'd just be like, "Yeah, sure."
I suppose. I want to see how far we can get before we get evaporated by whatever's just. Oh, you go back to your area. Can I get there? I can't even shoot it.
Well, turn around and see how far you've gone.
Oh, it just teleported me right back to. Can I get to the space elevator? I'm coming, Elizabeth. Right, we got more. Oh god, I didn't realise I could clip through it.
Yeah.
Have we got more, or are we good to stop?
Topics in general.
No, more for like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings.
Well, no, I was gonna. This whole thing started because I wanted to talk about the next book I want to read, but that can keep.
Okay. In that case, let's get these results. See if we passed the test. I only destroyed 0.7%, Ben. That is
I
four
probably
things.
will. I probably will finish Fire and Blood, truth be told.
Yeah.
Because now I know more about Dance of Dragons. Because it gets a bit confusing. If you just go into it raw.
Well, you don't want to go in raw.
No.
Well, thank you for joining us, everyone, for about 40 minutes of, 35 minutes of taking a ship apart and 5 minutes of whizzing around in space.
45 minutes of fun.
Whoop, whoop. Obviously, we'll be here again next week, because we always fucking are.
Yeah, until Jordan inevitably gets bored and wants to do a different game.
Oh, we'll still be here.
Oh, yeah, well, we will, yeah.
It just won't necessarily be hard.
Not here in space.
Yes. Anyway, yes. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Blah, 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 blah.
Bye.
Oh, that's not right.